friends, today the topic of discussion is osteosarcoma. So let's understand what is osteosarcoma. It is also called as osteogenic sarcoma. It is basically a malignant neoplasm of mesenchymal cells where these tumor cells produce osteoid, and these mesenchymal cells are basically the bone forming cells. There are a lot of risk factors which include radiation, retinoblastoma gene inactivation, bone diseases such as fibrous dysplasia, Paget's disease, and few syndromes such as Li-Fraumeni syndrome, which is a mutation in TP53 gene. These predispose to the development of osteogenic sarcoma. Any bone can get affected. It can be gnathic, that is jaw bones, or extragnathic, that is any other bone. That's mostly the long bones, femur, humerus, tibia, etc. It can present itself as swelling, pain, loosening of teeth, and paresthesia. All these mainly in relation to the jawbone. Coming to the types of osteosarcoma. Based on origin, it's been divided into intramedullary osteosarcoma or conventional type, where the osteosarcoma will be seen in the central portion of the bone. So this is where you will be seeing the osteosarcoma. And next are the types called as juxtacortical or the peripheral, where we have two types: parosteal, which arises above the periosteum outside the cortex, so somewhere here, and then the periosteal type. This is parosteal type, and the periosteal type is below the periosteum, and this causes elevation of the periosteum. So let's just understand. So that is the periosteum. Here the outer black line is the periosteum. So if a tumor forms periosteally, the periosteum rises above the tumor. So this is the periosteal type, and this is the periosteal type, and this is the parosteal type, and this is the intramedullary or the conventional type of osteosarcoma. And the osteosarcoma can also happen extraosseously in the soft tissues. Just to show that this is not inside the bone, I have drawn an osteosarcoma outside. So this is the extraosseous type of osteosarcoma. Now, based on the histopathology, the types are osteoblastic type, fibroblastic type, chondroblastic type, and few other types, that is telangiectatic type, where you will be seeing large blood-filled spaces, hemorrhage and blood vessels, and others are small cell type, epithelioid type, and giant cell rich type. Radiographic appearance is variable and depends on the amount of tumor bone formed by the malignant osteoblasts. If it's less bone, we see radiolucency. If it is more bone, we see radiodensities. Sometimes we see both mixed radiolucent and radiodense areas. That indicates intermediate degree of tumor bone formation. Here you can see an area like this, where this resembles a cloud, that the image that I have put here. Okay, so this is basically the mineralizing tumor osteoid within the intramedullary soft tissue component forms cumulus cloud densities. So this is called as cumulus cloud appearance. Apart from cumulus cloud presentation of the osteosarcoma radiographically, there are three more classic radiographic presentation by this tumor. One is sunburst or sunray appearance. Next is formation of Codman's triangle. Third is the widening of the periodontal ligament space in the jawbone osteosarcoma. Now coming to the sunray or sunburst pattern, where we can see small streaks of bone radiating outwards giving the sun ray appearance that you can see here. All these spikes that you see giving the sunburst or sun ray appearance. This is a very classic textbook picture. Next is as the tumor grows, the periosteum gets elevated. Here is a tumor of the long bone. Here you can see this is the cortex, and this is the periosteum that has got elevated. And you can see that this periosteum with the bone, where this periosteum merges with the bone, forms an acute angle, and this is called as the Codman's triangle. This is called as Codman's triangle, and this is the sun ray or the sunburst appearance or sunburst appearance of osteosarcoma. Next we have is the where the tumor mass in the periodontal ligament or the periodontal ligament space causing resorption of the adjacent bone, resulting in widening of the periodontal ligament space. This image, the final image that we see here, shows this widening of the periodontal ligament space because of the resorption of the bone here in where the tumor mass is in the periodontal ligament. Now, this is very characteristic feature, of course, but this kind of feature is also seen. This kind of widening of periodontal ligament space is also seen in chondrosarcoma and scleroderma, because of which this is not very specific to osteosarcoma. But however, with the clinical features and the minimal radiographic appearances, if we see, and histopathology, this should be quite diagnostic, and especially this widening of periodontal ligament space is the very early sign in osteosarcoma. Widening of PDL space is early sign, so this can help in early diagnosis of osteosarcoma. Next is another characteristic feature associated with the root. When the osteosarcoma starts resorbing the root, it will cause spiking resorption. The roots of the teeth become narrow and spiky, and this kind of resorption is called as spiking resorption, and this is also quite characteristic of osteosarcoma. So these are the radiographic features of osteosarcoma. Now coming to the histopathology of osteosarcoma, I have tried to explain it in a very simple way. Basically, the histopathological components are proliferating osteoblasts, which are malignant type or the atypical type, which produce osteoid material or trabecular bone. And this osteoid material is of variable amount. It can vary from anywhere from thin lace-like woven bone to broad irregular sheets of bone. And whenever we see thin lace-like arrangement of this woven bone, it will be quite ornamental in appearance, and that is called as filigree pattern. In the next slide, I will be explaining that. Along with that, these atypical cells can be of osteoblastic type, fibroblastic type, and they can produce cartilaginous material and myxomatous tissue, and that's called as chondroblastic type. Apart from that, based on the type of cell, atypicality of the cell, if it is well differentiated, it is low grade osteosarcoma. If it is poorly differentiated with more number of atypical cells, pleomorphic cells, it's called as high grade osteosarcoma. Now coming to the filigree pattern that I said I'll be showing you here. This is the image here. What you can see is that a very thin strokes of petals or the floret design, which shows which is quite ornamental, and this is what we see here. The trabeculae are very thin and lace-like, and this is the filigree pattern. Here is another ornament where you can see very intricate design, and here you can see the similar trabecular arrangement, and this is called as filigree pattern. Next is the types of cells. Based on the types of cell, we have three types that I've told you. In the osteoblastic type, how do the cells appear? They are basically the malignant osteoblasts, which are round, spindle shaped. They can be even spindle shaped, and they are quite pleomorphic, as you can see here, large, small size. And the cytoplasm is basically densely eosinophilic, which I have not drawn here. I will be showing you in the histopathology diagram. The cytoplasm is eosinophilic, and they show very atypical nuclei which are deep staining, and these are arranged in a very disorderly pattern about the trabeculae. And also you can see the multinucleated giant cells. These cells form multinucleated giant cells, and around 60% of the time they are osteoblastic type. Next is fibroblastic type, which is 34% of the times they are fibroblastic type. And here you can see the anaplastic fibroblasts with very minimal osteoid. You have to have a keen eye to look for this osteoid and then call it as osteosarcoma. Next is chondroblastic type, which is 10%, and here you will be seeing neoplastic myxomatous tissue and the cartilaginous tissue. Again, there will be an amount of osteoid that you have to closely look for and then call it as osteosarcoma and not call it as chondrosarcoma. Osteosarcoma is quite malignant. So first, most of the times it's done with pre-operative chemotherapy is given, and then a surgical excision of the tumor mass. And from this surgical excision, we closely observe the pathological components, because the chemo is already done initially, and some amount of changes, some amount of regression should have happened in this surgically excision mass. So we have to observe pathologically. Post that, depending on the amount of neoplastic or malignancy that we see inside, post-operative chemo also is given, and the survival rate is 30 to 70%. Now let's quickly go through the other types of osteosarcoma, the peripheral or the juxtacortical osteosarcoma, what it's called as. Now here there are two types. One is parosteal, the other one is periosteal type of osteosarcoma. Okay, this image I have drawn to show this is the central region, the bone marrow space, from where the intramedullary osteosarcoma arises, and the brown line is the cortex, outer cortex. Okay, this is the cortex, and this is the periosteum. The pink line is the periosteum. This should help you understand where these tumors are arising from. Now the parosteal type is arising from the outer cortex, outside of the outer cortex, and here you can see that the periosteum here is not raised. So this basically is attached to the outer cortex through a stalk. Periosteum is not elevated, or no elevation of the periosteum, and because there is no periosteal elevation, there is no new bone formation under the periosteum. So this is very characteristic feature of parosteal type. Coming to the periosteal type, here you can see that this mass here, it is more with it comes with a broad base, and it is so called as sessile. Okay, it's attached not through a stalk, it's broader base, and this pink line, this is the periosteum, which is elevated. So there is elevation of periosteum. Okay, and what else? We see that where the periosteum is elevated, here you can see that there is periosteal reaction. So here there is new bone formation, whereas in parosteal there was no new bone formation. Next is parosteal type is kind of a low grade osteosarcoma, whereas this is high grade. Histopathologically, parosteal type will be fibroblastic type of tumor mass with osteoid bony trabeculae, abundance of bony trabeculae formed. Whereas in periosteal type, the it is histopathologically chondroblastic type of osteosarcoma. So, uh, malignant tumor cells form chondroblast in periosteal type. Uh, since it is a low grade tumor, it can be excised, but however the excision has to be radical, whereas periosteal type is again radical excision with wider margins. It's wider margins. And in case of parosteal type, if it is removed inadequately, it will come back as a higher grade osteosarcoma. So adequate removal is to be ensured when treating parosteal type of osteosarcoma. Now we'll just quickly go through another type of osteosarcoma, which is a very important one, called as post irradiation osteosarcoma. This is an osteosarcoma seen in patients who have had irradiation for some other tumor, and the bone that is present in the vicinity of the malignancy of some other tissue, that gets osteosarcoma, that transforms into neoplastic cells, and that bone cells start producing malignancy, that is osteosarcoma. The malignancy to develop may take 3 to 14 years after the irradiation therapy, and the dose of the radiation should be anywhere between or above 40 to 60 gray units. And the most common post radiation sarcoma is the osteosarcoma. So this is just for the completion sake of osteosarcoma. Next we will be learning the histopathological drawing of osteosarcoma. First we need a circle, we need eosin pencil, hematoxylin pencil and a lead pencil. Lead pencil is for labeling and circling. Now let's start drawing the diagram. We will be drawing the osteoblastic type of osteosarcoma, where we will draw a lot of osteoblasts which are malignant type or atypical osteoblasts, and then this osteoblast will be secreting the osteoid material. So we will be drawing lot of osteoblasts haphazardly arranged or arranged in disorderly fashion. Some of them are round, some of them are spindle shaped. In between we will be drawing the osseous trabeculae and osteocytic spaces. Now we will be making the nucleus inside this. The nucleus is darkly staining, showing atypicality again. These osteoblasts, the malignant osteoblasts, they show pleomorphism. So all those features we shall be putting inside the diagram. In between we will leave few cells to draw the mitotic figures. So here is a cell where we will be drawing the mitotic figures to show the metaphase here. This is telophase and metaphase. And we also mentioned that the osteoblasts here, the malignant osteoblasts, show densely eosinophilic cytoplasm in the histopathology theory part. So we shall be filling up the empty space, that cytoplasmic space, with eosinophilic stain, that is using pink pencil or the eosin pencil. we will also draw a giant cell, tumor giant cell. And we will draw multiple nuclei inside. These are the tumor giant cells. Now we shall fill this bony trabeculae with eosinophilic pencil, eosin pencil. Now, very important feature is around these bony trabeculae, we will be drawing the osteoblasts, the tumor osteoblasts. Next, we will be drawing the osteoid material in between these osteoblasts. So, the tumor cells produce osteoid material and also trabeculae that we can see. Rest of the area we shall fill it with eosin pencil. The other types of osteosarcoma histopathologically are the fibroblastic type and chondroblastic type. If we feel like doing that, we can add few fibroblast-like cells in between and a bit of collagen fibers because all these types will be intermixed histopathologically. You can see areas of fibroblastic, chondroblastic, etc. So we can just draw a few spindle cells in between and draw the nucleus. We can draw few collagen fibers in these areas. We can do more of osteoid areas too. Tumor osteoid. And around wherever the osteoid is formed, we can draw more osteoblasts, malignant osteoblasts. Basically, it is composed of malignant osteoblasts or atypical osteoblasts which produce trabecular bone or the osteoid type of bone, and areas of fibroblastic type, and if you intend to do, you can also do chondroblastic type of areas in this tumor mass. So this is the diagram of osteosarcoma. We shall start labeling them. This is osteosarcoma, also known as osteogenic sarcoma. What do we see? We see atypical or malignant osteoblasts, atypical or malignant osteoblasts. We see tumor giant cells. We see trabecular bone. Also called as osseous trabeculae. These trabecular bone can be broad and thick, or they can be thin and lace-like. Whenever we have thin and lace-like trabeculae, it's called as filigree pattern in osteosarcoma. Next, we will be labeling the mitotic figures and the tumor osteoid. It's very important to look closely for tumor osteoid in osteosarcoma, whatever variant. Here we have fibroblastic variant, and closely in fibroblastic type of osteosarcoma area, we will be seeing osteoid material. So that confirms this as osteosarcoma. Similarly, if we have a chondroblastic area, again look for osteoid material and it will confirm osteosarcoma instead of chondrosarcoma. So here it is fibroblasts, atypical again, atypical. This completes the drawing of osteosarcoma. Hope this was clear and hope you liked it. Please feel free to comment on this and please like the video. Thank you so much. See you all soon with another histopathology diagram. Bye.